from what I see with Zoho, what you do is you just create more resources.
Yes.
You create more opportunities.
Yes.
Is that what Zohonomics is?
Yes, that's beautifully said. Beautifully said. The core element of economics works with the notion of constraint. Okay, that's a core element of economics look. So there's
I
constraint.
remembered it right.
Yeah, you do remember it right. So there's a notion of, all their beautiful curves work against that, right? So this is demand. Of course, it changes over time, but this is the demand, this is supply, and things like that. So it works with the notion of constraint. Number two, it works, especially as developed in the West, it works under a very strict notions of efficiency. That's a lot of the stuff that American economists did and pushed around the rest of the world was about economics being driven towards efficiency. So from that, efficiency means do everything you can at the lowest price, at the highest value, et cetera, a lot of which turns into policies later that may not stand the test of time. So I'll give you an example of that. Outsourcing is a good example of that, right? So it's an example of efficiency. And if you're efficient, you focus on what you do, let someone else do it. Well, that story has already been written, right? What happened with that? What happened to core competences across the world? Why is it the case that the country that invented Silicon Valley and invented semiconductors does not do any fabs anymore? And it's all done overseas. Why is it the case that, and now you see the reverse of that. You see the new head of Intel who joined a few months ago, who's now saying Intel is going to go back and reinvest in fabs. In a few years ago, it would have thought outsourcing, low value, low skill, push it out, right? So going back to your point, Marshall, so economics kind of brings it puts constraints on these ideas. And I think what we've done, if you were to coin the word Zohonomics here, is to peel out some of those constraints. For example, don't assume that your core skills are your core skills. You can develop core skills. You're not cast at a point in time. We were all born with clean slates, right? So you're not cast at a point in time. 10 years ago or 15 years ago, did we know anything about cloud software? How did we get here? Is that a core competency? Absolutely it is. So a few years ago, we started investing in infrastructure, data centers, all of that stuff. At that point, it was a fearful thing to do because there were plenty of people who are already doing this at lower cost. So is that something we should do? Why did we not go with AWS? Why do we not go with one of those companies? That's the obvious thing to do. They've built these thousands of tools on top. When will we ever build those tools? They've doing this at scale. They've been dropping price, which they did every 6 months. They kept dropping price. So why would we not do that? It takes a different bent of mind to say, this is something I need to do because it's painful to do now, but it will be a core competence in 5 years or more. And I will need that core competence in 5 years or more. So that turns around the economic prospect of just how we do this in for that immediate period.